Hey everybody, Scotia here, just with a quick video for today because I just want to talk about the KOFXV and the trailer we got last night for it. And it was a trailer for Maxima, and I'm not really going to be talking about Maxima a lot in this video, mostly because I honestly just don't really give a shit about him. No offense to those that do like Maxima, but I just want to talk about his team that was revealed in this trailer because we finally got the confirmation of the K- team, which is K-, Whip and Maxima, and we've kind of had a feeling this was how the team was going to end up for quite a while now. Pretty much since Whip got revealed, I think a lot of people assumed this was going to be the formation of it, myself included, and I'm pretty excited by it. So this is kind of breaking the normal kind of routine I do with these my thoughts on blank that I've been doing for previous characters for the KOFXV, because like I said, I'm not really talking about the character, I'm talking about the team. And I'm talking about the team because, personally speaking, I would probably say that the Nest Saga, of all the other sagas in the KOFXV series, the Nest Saga is probably my favourite. I do have a lot of love for the other sagas as well, especially the Ash Saga. I've recently, kind of had a newfound love for that. I've really been appreciating it, having been covering them in the What Happened in videos. But yeah, like when I look at the Nest Saga and I look at the games in them, like I do like those games a lot. I like the rosters, I like the stories, the overall vibe. I just like it a lot. And naturally, I like K- a lot because he's the main character of those games. But there's been this thing with K- for quite a few years now, for the last couple of games, that I've really just been kind of bored with him. And I've just not been liking the direction that SK have been going in with him. And you can pretty much attribute this from the start of it, is when he changed his team in the KOFX 11 to himself, Maxima and Cooler Diamond. And again, I do like that team, I think it's an okay team. And it is pretty much what most people assume. It's kind of the default K- team for quite a lot of people because we've had it for so long. I mean, KOFX 11 was, I believe, 2005. So you're kind of looking at about 16, 17 years now. Those three characters have been the K- team. So I think it's only natural that people have become used to that being the team. But I really just not liked the direction they've been going in with it. And my kind of like examples of this have been the endings for the K- team in 11, 13 and 14, because I really just feel like they all play out the same way. You've got K- who just doesn't want to be there, doesn't care about what's going on. Usually he has his feet up on a table, just has no interest in what's going on. You have Maxima, who kind of speaks for K-, but even then he just never really does or says anything. And then you have Cooler, who just wants ice cream, and that's kind of the way it's gone for like the last couple of games. And I was actually going to make a video on it about how I'm kind of, I'm getting bored of K-, Cooler and Maxima together as this team, if the team in 15 was going to be that formation, but it's not. Because as I've said, and you've gathered, if you've already seen it or you're looking by the thumbnail, the title of this video, the K- team has finally changed. Only a little bit, but it has changed. And it's now K-, Maxima and Whip. And it's kind of crazy how just one character being changed kind of like just changes my whole overall excitement and just feelings about the K- team. I like Whip a lot. She's one of my favourite KOF characters. I didn't talk about her for 15, I don't think, but I wasn't really a fan of how she looked in her trailer. I don't hate her, I'm not like kind of like she's ruined or anything, but she looked a bit off to me. So I'm hoping when I actually, play her in the game for myself, I can kind of like get used to it. But yeah, there was nothing else really to say about it because she was mostly unchanged from 14, which again, I liked her in 14 as well. But Whip is a character that is very ingrained with the Nest Saga and especially K-, and this has been a team before. In the KOFX 2002 and 2003, this was the K- team. I guess you could say 2001 because Lin was there as well, but it's weird. I personally count it as 2001 as well, even though that was a 4-person team. But it's kind of apples and oranges really. But yeah, this is very exciting for me because this kind of gives me hope these characters are actually going to be doing something meaningful for once, because I really feel like SNK didn't know what to do with the Nests characters once that saga was done with and once Nests themselves were taken down. And I really feel like a lot of those characters were aimless. I mean, we didn't see Angel for years, since 14. That was when she came back, and now we've got Cronin back, or K49, however you want to call him. And I think a large part of that is because we're now currently in the storyline where past villains or just past characters that have died in previous KOF games are now coming back because of Verse. And we already know that some Nests characters were revived. We had Chrysalid and Ignis were two characters that, in specific Verse win quotes, if Verse beat certain characters in 14, he would have a certain line where he would be speaking as a deceased character that was inside him. And Chrysalid and Ignis were two of those. So we know that there's a good chance that Nests characters are back now, they are alive again. So it's only natural that, like, you know, things would be naturally shifting. But it's good to actually see it happening. And, you know, there's always that kind of worry that, like, this doesn't really go anywhere and this is just kind of a, you know, this is like a one and done thing, and then Whip will go back to the Ikari Warriors, which would be really disappointing to me, because I know people kind of like look at her as like a more of a Ikari Warrior character, which I totally get. You know, she debuted with them, but to me, Whip was always kind of, she was like the fourth or fifth Ikari character, you know, because you always had the main three. You always had Leona, Ralph, and Clark, and it was very rare that those three ever, you know, got split up. It's only happened once in KOF 11, which is when Whip got called in, and she broke away from K-Dash and Maxima, which led to Cooler coming in. And then after that, Whip was just kind of put in the sidelines, because it was like, well, we've got Ralph, Clark, and Leona, so we don't really need, you know, Whip and Haida. And then now Haida's with Isla and Dolores. And so there was kind of this thing of like, well, where's Whip going to go? And it was natural to me that she'd be with K-Dash, because, again, if you don't know, Whip is a clone of K-Dash's sister, Sarah. Sarah is unfortunately deceased in the lore. So, but she's still a clone. It's weird. It's kind of something that they've kind of brushed over. Technically, you know, they're not really siblings, but for all intents and purposes, they are siblings. They treat each other like siblings. SNK treat them like siblings, so they might as well just be siblings. But so you know, there is a link there, and I've always kind of personally seen Whip as more of a K-Dash related / you know, K-Dash / Nests related character, rather than like an Ikari character. Even though she's both, you know, she's obviously both. But if I had to like attribute her to one side over the other, I would personally attribute her as more of a Nest / K-Dash character. So I'm glad that they've kind of brought these characters together. You know, part of me's kind of like, I wish they never split them up, really. I know a lot of people like the K-Dash Cooler Maxima dynamic. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I just felt like they never really did anything with it, and I'm kind of glad we're having a break from it, even if they go back to it in the next saga or the next game, which while that would be disappointing, at least we kind of had a bit of a shake-up. You know, I can like appreciate it now at the moment that they're shaking things up. So yeah, I'm just very interested to see where they go. My kind of hopes and desires from this, I think more than anything, I want a Chrysalid cameo in their team ending. If we don't get that, I'll be very disappointed, because it just seems perfect for it, really. Like, I mean, I was just saying about Verse, like, we know Chrysalid was inside Verse, and we know that, you know, all the souls that were inside Verse are now resurrected. So to me, it would just seem like a colossal waste to not have Chrysalid show up. Again, I'll have to explain it, sorry. For those that don't know, Chrysalid is a clone of K-Dash, and was kind of manipulated by Nests into thinking that Whip was his sister. You know, kind of, they gave Chrysalid K-Dash's memories, but they kind of made him believe they were his own memories. So there was a weird relationship with Whip and Chrysalid, because for a while they both thought they were siblings, but then Whip found out they weren't, and then after KOF 99, when Chrysalid died, he found out just before he died that, you know, he wasn't actually Whip's brother. It was very, you know, sad. It's a very sad and tragic backstory. I like Chrysalid a lot. I mean, I really love him. I don't really talk about him on this channel. I should do, to be honest, because I really think he's probably my favourite, like, KOF boss. I'd even go as far as to say my favourite SNK boss. I think he's a really underrated character, and I hope, you know, this is kind of the start of him getting brought back into the fold. And, you know, if things go well, I really hope this is kind of the start of a face turn for him, so to speak. You know, I think my dream team for a KOF game for quite a while now has been K-Dash, Whip, and Chrysalid. Who knows if we'll get it? I don't think we'll get it, because I think too many people want K-Dash with certain characters. I mean, people will want him with Maxima, they'll want him with Cooler. So I you know, I hope they do it. I don't really think they'll do it, but yeah, like, for me, minimum what I want, I really want Chrysalid, like, to at least be referenced, to be mentioned. I would prefer it if he actually showed up, but I just want them to acknowledge that, hey, Chrysalid's alive, and he's, you know, there's going to be conflict between him, K-Dash, and Whip. Because I don't think K-Dash even really knows that Chrysalid has this relationship with Whip. They've never really, you know, kind of like mentioned it or like referenced it outside of KF 99, and obviously Whip having that relationship with Chrysalid. So yeah, this was just a quick video. I just want to give my thoughts, just let you guys know that, like, I'm actually really excited about this. I think this is a very interesting, you know, it's weird, like, even though this is a team that has existed several times now, and this is probably the most interested I've been in the K-Dash team in years, and I really hope it goes, you know, the way I want it to go. But I just hope more than anything, it's interesting. Like, I hope they just do something with these characters for once, because like I said, K-Dash, Cooler, and Maxima, they've been in this rut for so long now where, like, they've just not really done anything, and I kind of hope, you know, this is a step in the right direction for them. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm not going to be doing any more videos for the rest of the year. I'm going to be taking a break over Christmas and the New Year's. So this will be the last you hear from me in 2021. I hope you all have a good holidays and New Year. I shall be back early January, probably for the next KOF15 team story, which will probably be early January. I think January 5th maybe. I don't know, but I'll be back by then. So thank you guys so much for all the support. It's been a great year. It's been great to see my channel keep growing and growing. Next year, a lot of big things happening. Got a lot of interesting stuff happening in February. We've got KOF15 and possibly Street Fighter 6 being revealed. Going to be a very, very good time, very fun time, interesting time. Going to be a lot of discussions, going to be a lot of videos on this channel. So I hope you're all there with me when we get to that. And yeah, that's it. So thank you again, and I shall see you next year. Bye.
We await your return, warrior.